Hello, I'm Shartae Robinson, Associate State Director for Advocacy and Outreach for AARP Northern Illinois. In celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, AARP Illinois welcomes you to a virtual presentation of art by renowned African American artists from Chicago, Detroit, and across the Midwest. This virtual event will be brought to you by Gallery Guichard Bronzeville, the largest African American art district in the country. To learn more about Gallery Guichard, please visit www.galleryguichard.com. I also welcome you to visit aarp.org/IL to learn more about AARP Illinois' advocacy and outreach work. Finally, I would like to share a quote with you by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We must use time creatively, in the knowledge that time is always ripe to do right. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, my name is Andre Guichard, artist, collector, curator, and co-owner of Gallery Guichard.
I'm Frances Guichard, also known as the artist Marlene Campbell, artist, collector, curator, and co-owner of Gallery Guichard. Our mission is to expose multicultural artists to collectors while specializing in the art of the African diaspora.
Welcome to our new exhibition, Humankind, which is a collaboration of artists from the Midwest, including Chicago, Detroit, and Milwaukee.
Artists capture what makes us human in this thought-provoking and colorful exhibit. Our ability to love, to care, to show emotion, empathy, and feelings. Expressions of humankind that delve into relationships, family, friends, and those things that make us human.
This exhibit is full of vibrant color, cubism, and abstraction, but art that touches the soul as it enjoys and makes you think about music, love, and laughter. Original art is no longer just about decoration and beautification. Original art has now become as much about wellness as it is decoration, and many of our collectors are finding that during quarantine, it is helping them to relax and cleanse their spirit.
Original art appreciates and values, something you can pass down from generation to generation. Buy what you like and what makes you feel good. Each piece is hand-produced and singular. Buy art that makes you happy. Visit our website for our virtual exhibition catalogs.
It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Click on the link for the virtual exhibition catalog that you're interested in. Then once it opens up, you are inside of the Gallery Guichard exhibition of your choice. Now you can move around freely by touching the circles, and you can get information about each painting, title, medium, artist, and contact information for Gallery Guichard.
Check out our no-interest payment plans. We also are an event space for meetings, weddings, receptions, and other events. Check us out on galleryguichard.com.
Good evening and welcome to the virtual Gallery Guichard here at Gallery Guichard in Bronzeville, 436 East 47th. I'm Andre Guichard.
And I'm Frances Guichard.
Co-owner, gallerist, artist, curator, collector.
As well, co-owner, gallerist, curator, and collector of Gallery Guichard.
So we want to welcome you to the November Bronzeville Virtual Art Trolley Tour. This is the Gallery Guichard exhibition. We have an amazing new exhibit for you, yes, Humankind.
Humankind. Everything that it is to be human is going to be reflected in this amazing artwork here, this exhibit.
This exhibit includes 9 artists from the Midwest, Chicago, Milwaukee, and Detroit. Bold, rich color, which you can see in the work of Judy Bowman, amazing collage work by
Darren Darby,
Anzi, and each of the artists will actually share with you their artist talk virtually
so you can get to learn a little bit more about them, how they started, their mediums.
What encouraged them or inspires them to continue to work in these wonderful mediums.
So our mission here at Gallery Guichard is to create platforms for artists and collectors to meet. And it was inspired as a young artist 25 plus years ago, looking for platforms and not having as many. So we now create platforms for artists of the African diaspora and multicultural artists. And we've been on this journey for 15 years now.
And we work with artists from all over the country, all over the world.
So tonight we have artist talks, and before we get started, we want to go over a couple housekeeping items. We're actually going to do a artist talk, but before we do, we're going to demonstrate how easy it is to follow along in VEC number 9, our latest virtual exhibition catalog, which covers this beautiful exhibit and will give you the opportunity to drop down into Gallery Guichard virtually, see this amazing exhibit, walk up on the art, look at the prices, and you can even contact us right now in the moment if you see something you like and reserve it, because already some of this work is sold.
And you'll find our VECs on our website at www.galleryguichard.com.
It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Click on the link for the virtual exhibition catalog that you're interested in. Then once it opens up, you are inside of the Gallery Guichard exhibition of your choice. Now you can move around freely by touching the circles, and you can get information about each painting, title, medium, artist, and contact information for Gallery Guichard.
And you can join us now by texting us, which the information we'll have in the chat. So you can text us and let us know if you see anything you like.
That's right. So now, without further ado, we'd like to introduce to you our first artist who introduced themselves and their journey, and that's Judy Bowman from Detroit.
Yes, enjoy.
Welcome to the virtual Gallery Guichard exhibition. My name is Andre Guichard.
And I'm Frances Guichard.
And we're here on the Bronzeville Art District virtual trolley tour. And this is our November edition. And we are so excited because we have the opportunity not only to share her amazing artwork, but to talk with the master herself. And I'm going to say that because I really feel that you are a genius with what you do. And Judy Bowman, our, I think, 3-year anniversary is coming up when we met, something like that.
Yeah.
Right, with Bombay Sapphire Artisan Series.
I'm
yes,
going to find
indeed.
that picture and I'm going to see if we can show that, because that was a great day. And the energy and the excitement in that room, I always feel it in your work. So I'm excited to ask you some questions about it.
Yeah, your work is amazing. And thank you so much for joining us for Humankind. And let me just start by asking you, how long have you been painting, Judy?
I've been painting all of my life. And I stopped for a really long time, and I got back to it. And everything has just been beautiful. It was like riding a bicycle, just got right back into it.
So I love to hear stories about people who are talented anyway, and they dibble and dabble. But when you say started back, when did you first know you were an artist?
Way back in kindergarten. The teacher used to have us to draw pictures on the board to keep us quiet, and mine were always the best. So I knew way back then, and I always wanted to be an artist.
Love it, love it. So was the Bombay Sapphire Artisan Series your coming back out year, or had you been out before that for some time?
Well, actually, that was the 3rd time that I had participated in it.
Wow.
And so I won the regional here in Detroit 2 times, in 2016, 17, and 2018, I got the national. Hey!
Yes.
So I went all the way.
You went all the way.
Art Basel.
I went
So
all the way.
what's your background, Judy? Are you classically trained? How did you get started in the medium you're working in?
I've been classically trained. I studied 3 years. I was registered at Clark College. I took my classes at Spelman, and I was there for 3 years. And then we had to leave Clark and Spelman to come back up north. And so that was my training. And then after that, the school that I went to did not have an art department. And so I had to change my major, and that's how I got into education. And so when I retired from education, I went back to my art, and everything was magic. Everything was good.
And you said you were gone from education in between time for how long?
It was like 35 years that I had to stop because I was working and having children and all of that kind of stuff, women's work. And so when I retired, and I didn't do any art at all, none. I didn't have time. So it was great. So I'm back and I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to take this puppy. This is going to be the rest of my life.
So tell me about this body of work. I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but it's everything I've experienced in life and more. So maybe you can speak about the imagery and how, you know, it makes me romanticize about my past growing up. So I'd love to hear more.
All right. Well, when I started going back to my art, I started doing pastels, and that's what I was trained in. And Charles White was my influence. I just loved how his work was so powerful and strong. You know, the people looked like they had dignity about themselves, and that's what I wanted to create. But as I was doing the collages, as I was doing the pastels, I wanted to do larger pieces. And so I went into a store and I saw these bright papers, and that's how it all started. And I went back and I made my first collage, and I said, I like this. And that's what I've been doing ever since. I want my work to represent the people that I see, the community that I'm in. My work is all about relationships. And so when you look at my work, a lot of times I stand back and I watch people watch my work, and I can see that they're relating to it. I can see that they're feeling that relationship or emotion that I try to put into my work. And that makes me feel really good.
It's all about being human. We see that humanism in your work.
Yeah, it's about telling the story, and everybody has a story. And like I said, my work is about relationships. So it's either a relationship with your family, your relationship with your community, your relationship with your man, your woman. It's all about relationships. And, you know, in our world is so much sadness and strife. But when you have a relationship with somebody, that just kind of gets you through. It makes you feel warm. And that's what I'm about.
That's so true. Wonderful. Tell us about that beautiful painting behind you with the teal background and turquoise. Yes.
This is called Detroit Swag. And in my family, there were a lot of, the men in my family, they loved jazz. They always had jazz around them. And so it's kind of in my soul. Even though I'm not a musician, I just feel a connection with jazz and music and people partying and people looking, you know, like they're getting their thing on. So that's what I tried to do in this particular piece. And this is called Detroit Swag. And this is from my Black Bottom series. And this is what I imagine Paradise Valley would be like, where people came together and they had fun, they were looking good, feeling good, and just relating to each other. And so that's Detroit Swag.
What's the medium, Judy? What's your medium?
This is collage on canvas, and I have paint, but most of it's paper.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
And the piece that I have in your window, that is also my family. That's my mom and her sisters, and it's called Hanging Out on Lafayette and McDougal. And if you look at it, everybody's all dressed up, and I would say, Mom, where were you guys going? And she said, this is just how we dressed. We would just, had dignity. They had pearls and earrings, and I'm saying, where are you guys going? We were just hanging out. This is how we dressed. This is how we did it. And so I like that. I like that that presentation, that dignity, that classiness, that swag. That's what I try to do in my work.
Awesome.
Love it.
That's a great message.
It really is. What a treat. And I can only say we are so honored to be working with you and to have your work here in Chicago.
Yes.
So everyone, please make sure you visit the virtual exhibition catalog for Humankind, because this work is amazing. And I'm honored and happy to say that you've already sold a piece. It's just driving people almost to have accidents in that front window. We might have to put a caution sign up.
So true.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Judy. We really appreciate you spending time with us and having your amazing artwork here at Gallery Guichard and seeing it on the back.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yes,
All right. Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Be safe. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Welcome back to Gallery Guichard virtually at our November Bronzeville Art Trolley Tour, and we are so excited to have another one of our featured artists for the Humankind exhibit from our neighboring Michigan and the city of Detroit, Darren Darby.
Hi, Darren.
Hello, how are you all?
We are great.
What a pleasure to have you in our gallery for this exhibit and in Chicago. I'm just in love with your work and your approach to your art practice. How long have you been painting now?
I've been an artist for as long as I can remember. I mean, as a kid, I started off drawing with pencils. I used to always draw comic book characters. My mother and my brother are both artists, so I was in a household that I always witnessed artwork all around me.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Sounds like my story. It's in your bones. You can't get rid of it. That is lovely.
Right.
So within that background, starting out, you're self-taught, correct?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
And
I'm an organic artist.
so tell us a little bit more about how you really got into that, like, you know, how people received your work and, you know, what inspired you to continue to be an artist?
Actually, I didn't really take it to heart because it came so naturally to me. People would always ask for commission artwork as far as drawings, and then I got into painting and pastels, and people would just ask me, but I never knew the world of fine art. So in 2014, I asked God to give me something new, and he gave me a process called lay puzzling, which is layered puzzled images, and it's all created by hand-cut layers puzzled together to create the image using negative space.
Awesome.
Love it. And speak to that, because when people see your work, first it looks two-dimensional, but really with the puzzles, you're layering one piece of the puzzle, and then sometimes one portion of the light reflection is layered. I just love how you approach your work, and the execution is amazing.
Thank you. Well, actually, I mean, it's a lot of engineering in it. So before I even start to cut or puzzle, I have to look at the image and determine what's going to be the negative space, what's going to be the next layer. And like you say, a lot of people get it twisted and think that it's paint when they see images on a photo or video, but it's actually multiple layers of paper, mat board, or even wood.
Lovely.
And I see that, you know, it really fits the theme of humankind. Your work seems to talk and speak to who we are as humans. Can you tell us a little bit more about that as well?
Yes, a lot of my primary focus is scriptures from the Bible, my childhood growing up, and witnessing the individuals around me. So the message that I want to convey is self-love, promoting awareness of who you are. And basically, I like thought-provoking things that have a message to where you can't figure out what the image is saying, so it sparks a conversation. So that's what art is all about. That's what I love about art. It's the relationship about art.
Absolutely.
And the story behind the art. And I love that you said that, because I think that's when a piece of art really speaks to someone. They connect to that story. And one of the pieces in the exhibit is on a hanging wall directly behind us. It's a beautiful woman with a rose. What is that title and story behind that piece in particular?
The title of that particular piece is Beauty for Ashes. And what it is an image of burnt roses and ashes around her, and it's part of her body. So from the ashes comes beauty. I mean, that's just like when you refine metal or gold, when you burn out the impurities, what arises from that is something that is so magnificent. And it's not about your physical beauty. It's about the things that you've been through life that causes you to rise above the ashes.
Love it.
The inner beauty of a woman.
And when the sun hits that piece, you can see the inner beauty just exuding, coming out, because it's a beautiful reflection on that.
Feels like pure copper coming through.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't see that when I did it because I didn't have it in the sun. So.
Hey, that's what art does, and that's the beauty of living with original art. You see something every day, and you know, so many of our clients have spoken to how in this time of quarantine, their art is saving them mentally, you know, because there's a lot of depression. Yes. And art like this speaks to your soul. So thank you, brother, for allowing us to be the platform as you come into the Chicago market, and we look forward to working with you for a long period of time.
I thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to be a part of the show, man. I appreciate you all.
Thank you so much, Darren.
Thank you.
See Darren's work on our website and the virtual exhibition. They'll be able to walk around, see each of your pieces, and be able to purchase. So thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. We'll see you soon.
All right.
It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Click on the link for the virtual exhibition catalog that you're interested in. Then once it opens up, you are inside of the Gallery Guichard exhibition of your choice. Now you can move around freely by touching the circles, and you can get information about each painting, title, medium, artist, and contact information for Gallery Guichard.
Welcome back to Gallery Guichard virtually and the November Bronzeville Virtual Art Trolley Tour, and we are excited to welcome one of our friends, partners with the Bronzeville Art District, Bronzeville Artist Loft, and also works with us as a partner in the gallery. So Alpha Bruton.
Hey Alpha, how are you?
Hi Francis, hi Andre, how are you guys today?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
It's a beautiful day. Go ahead and let's get started into this interview because you've got some amazing work. Tell us a little bit about how you started as an artist.
Why, thank you, thank you. All of us talk about our lives as that we're blessed when we're born, either you're gifted with something. So I was always kind of gifted with the talent of art and the spirit of an artist. And everyone in my family identified me early on as an artist. She's always been, you know, that person that they say was always that way. In the neighborhood as a child, I was always coordinating things and building, and we were allowed to have those experiences growing up where we were building and making, and I saw my parents building and making. And at school, same thing, you know, it was always the creative mind, the intuitive mind that was me growing up. Some of the questions say, what did I do in terms of my first art shows? I can remember doing the bulletin boards, you know, in the principal's office. I was not in trouble. I was just in the office, you know, creating on the bulletin board. And being in art competitions. And my 6th grade teacher saw the gift in me and gave me the opportunity, him and his wife, to go to an art center, you know, and this was in the 60s, you know, before junior high school that I was being able to do that. One of the things I learned in the art center, that you really can't draw what you haven't seen or experienced. And they asked me to do like a circus. We had never been to a circus. So my piece was totally abstract and what I conceived the circus would be, like from TV or, you know, a poster or something, when all the other kids painted or drew their experience because they had been, right? And so from that, I started doing like more realism, more looking at the environment, or like going over to the coast because I grew up in California, you go to Monterey or San Luis Obispo, and actually inhaling, the ocean and inhaling the missions there, and I would come back and actually draw those experiences. So yeah, I started at an early age, went to a high school of the humanities and the arts, and when I started college, I was in theater, dance, and of course, visual arts.
That's excellent, Alpha. And that's an excellent point about having that experience so you can see something. And if not, you have that abstract vision of it.
Even more so, I like the passion that you feel in your work. And there's a piece in this show in particular with the kids. And, I get the sense of being a kid again, and that atmosphere of being a kid, which was just, for me growing up in a great neighborhood, a great experience. And somehow you capture that in color. Is that what you mean about the experience, being able to depict that in your work?
Exactly. Growing up, I was afforded, I guess, the opportunity to be in a diverse school, and in a school that I wasn't only in just a segregated school. I was growing up, I was just in a neighborhood, in a community that was very, diverse, put it that way. And so in this piece that I did, and some of the other pieces that I put in the gallery that are reflective of children, this is titled "Give Your Child Permission to Live Together in Peace," right? And Francis had asked me to do something light on humankind for the exhibit, and while we were going through this whole turmoil of what we're going through with COVID and what we're going through with the elections, I sat down for that week, and instead of focusing on the TV and the news and all the things that are happening, I wanted to reflect about what our children are looking at. And we were given permission growing up to play with the Armenian kids, to play with the Mexican kids in the neighborhood, to play with the Native American kids that were going to our school. So because we grew up in a diverse community. And so that's what I'm projecting in this piece. And with the child looking out the window, at the children looking out the window, it's about, like, we do need to give our children permission to play together, especially in the climate that we're in today with the, with the adversities that are going on in, in our environment.
I love it. And I love how artists document history, but then also it's a space where we can engage things. Like you said, you had to get permission to play with kids, but when you can recreate that feeling through art, it lets everybody come in to maybe not being so separated, which I love, and how timely it is.
It softens the conversation and allows people to express themselves as the viewer, but also as an artist. So this is amazing. When you look at your work, you see the love and the relationships around people within humankind. What kind of mediums do you use particularly for a piece like that? Like, well, how do you express yourself with your mediums?
Thank you for that question, Francis, because as you know, over the years that I've been showing with Gallery Guichard, you've given me a theme, and then I've come back with something different, around that theme. And my work, I feel, is not pigeonholed. I did start off with photorealism and neo-photorealism in my earlier, training. And so I like to come back to you and give you that photorealism in the work. And also some of the work has a stylized approach. I do abstract work. I also do collage mediums on found objects. I also do environmental installation type work. And then I like to take that environmental installation work and from the outside, bring it into the two-dimensional. So you'll see some of that in the work that I presented there at Gallery Guichard. A lot of the abstract work and layers of work. My jazz pieces are layers of abstract and work. So again, I think because of my education and background and going through learning art education, teaching art education, those things come back in my artwork. I'm not kind of pigeonholed into one medium because I've explored all of them with my teaching credential program. So, but my favorite is painting, and my favorite is painting, photorealism. And a lot of people, I noticed in the last show last year, someone said, I didn't know that you paint people. I've only seen your abstract work, And these pieces come through that I've submitted in this exhibit, and you see that I've submitted like 5 different types of work, you know, and those are work that I have done based on themes of social justice, and then things of my matriarch series. And then this series here is, of course, my social justice, where I'm using children, you know, in the themes.
You know, Alpha, I have to humble myself and remember how we met through Chicago Artist Month, probably 20 years ago. What year was it?
I don't think it was that long ago.
Okay.
It was when you were at South Shore.
That's about 20 years, because Gallery Guichard is 15 years.
Okay.
Right, so that's at least 18. But, you know, I really appreciate, and if we could spend a little time, I know we don't have much, and Francis is probably going to kick me under the table, but as an artist who wears multiple hats, as a curator, a gallerist, an administrator, a teacher, a community service philanthropic person. I mean, you're all over, and I think about how we do the same thing, but it's great to talk about, you know, that complexity of being an artist still amongst that.
Well, first and foremost, everything I do is to underwrite my lifestyle as an artist, you know, because I don't have, some of the artists that I've worked with in the past established trust with me because I am an artist first, you know. Everything I did in art administration world is to underwrite my studio practice. And when I'm not doing my studio practice, well, I mean, what is it for? I mean, what is all of this that I do in life for if I can't create the volume of work and sit down in front of a canvas or sit down in front of a project and do that? So I'm always balanced that way, and always make time, and first and foremost, acknowledge the fact that I am an artist, and that's what I do. Everything else is just to kind of fund that and support that.
I love those pieces behind you. Those are awesome as well.
Thank you. This is part of the Phantom Gallery collection. You know, this piece behind me is donated by one of the artists that just passed away. She was with Afro Cobra. And then this other piece is Untitled Abstract that I got at the Switching Station Artist Lounge.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Well, as always, it is a pleasure to work with you as an artist,
yes,
but more importantly, to work with you as a family member in the Bronzeville Artist Loft.
Yes.
With Gallery Guichard.
Well, thank you for welcoming me into the fold. It's always an adventure.
Thank you. That's true. Well, we'll see you soon, and thanks again.
Thank you, Alpha.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back. This is Andre Guichard.
And I'm Francis. Hi, Sabrina.
And we're excited to be back on the virtual Gallery Guichard exhibition, which is part of the Bronzeville Art District Virtual Art Trolley Tour. And this is our November rendition. And this is the new exhibition.
Yes, Humankind.
And this work is really appropriate because the piece behind you is the piece in the exhibit. And, you know, God knows we need to care about others, definitely when they're going through trying times. So without further ado, Sabrina Brooks, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic over here, and just so happy to have you. Tell us a little bit how.
Guys,
go ahead.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Excellent. So what was your inspiration to become an artist?
Well, my mother is a breast cancer survivor. My aunt, my mother's mother, and passed away with her. But my sister died of breast cancer. When she passed away, the day before she passed away, she said, Sabrina, you're going to be this great artist. And I wasn't an artist. I'm just a teacher and an inventor. So I thought about it, started doing a little work, and it just came to fruition.
Nice. Awesome. And I like your use of mixed media. Tell me about the process and the mediums and the piece that you have been on exhibit in this show, Humankind.
Well, I think this is the way it works for me. I don't know how it works for other people, but me, I pray. If I'm going to go in the studio and do a piece, I pray, what am I going to do today, Lord? I went, got a couple of my clothes. I started a breast cancer clothing line. So what I did, I came up with the bras. I thought that was like awesome because of breast cancer. So I started using clothing, just hardboard. I've been using a lot of hardboard. That's basically it. It just comes to me. I don't know. It just comes to me.
You know, with your creativity, are you self-taught or are you a classically trained artist? Give us a little information about your background.
Totally self-taught. I've been a teacher for 29 years. Played basketball for University of Nebraska Cornhuskers. I coach boys basketball. We won 2 state championships. I coach tennis, track. And then I was an inventor. I have a bag that I'm getting ready to launch, but the art just came to me after my sister passed away. And it's just been going and going. And when I met you guys really took me to the next level.
And that was a while ago, Sabrina.
Right.
All right.
I love how your work has transformed from 2-dimensional, abstract, but more 3-dimensional. And talk about how it's sometimes an artist's responsibility to talk about humanity in their work or giving back and helping others. Why has that been your cause?
To give back to others. When I paint, I'm painting for the women, and I'm thinking about the things that the women are going through in their heart with my sister and my mother, the determination, the fight that they have to go through. So when I'm doing the pieces, I just feel that way with the fight that they're going through.
Wow.
And so that piece behind you represents, you know, that theme. Can you give us a little bit more information about how you created that and
Actually,
medium
and the title?
And right.
My favorite theme. It's inspirational. That's what I really named it, inspirational, because it helps women with breast cancer. When you see it, they're not, you know, sometimes I think women, when they get breast cancer, they really don't feel a certain way about their breasts. So that's the reason why I say inspirational, for women to be determined and don't give up, stay in the fight. And that's what I came up with.
And what's the medium?
The medium is the hardboard and acrylic.
Awesome.
And
excellent.
Just putting stuff on, just turning on some music, just being me. And that's basically it. And God is the way of all. So he just helps me create it.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's right.
Let him control your hand and the rest to take care of itself.
It's the truth. It is, and you know, when I'm finished, I'm completely finished, and I put the frame on it, it amazed me.
Exactly.
That's because it's really his work. He's just using your body.
Yeah.
And I like that it can be hung horizontally or vertically.
Yes. Actually, I like it horizontal.
I do too.
Right.
God is really using me.
Well, I just want to say welcome back, Sabrina, and very excited to have your work part of this amazing group exhibition. And this exhibit and your work will be seen and can be found on our new vertical exhibition catalog for humankind. And you can go to it on our website. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Click on the first link to get the information about the exhibit, a 2-minute overview, and the second link drops you in. You can see this amazing piece before it's sold, because I don't think that's going to last.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. This is awesome.
I want to thank you for inviting me back into your home, and I feel awesome. I do. I really feel awesome.
Excellent. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you. You guys be safe.
All right,
you too.
Sabrina.
Thank you.
Bye.
Welcome back. I'm very excited to introduce to you another artist who is new to Gallery Guichard, one of our emerging artists from Nigeria. Amazing, and I'm happy to say I just love how you use your mediums, but are so expressive. So welcome to Gallery Guichard virtually and the Bronzeville Art District Third Friday Art Trolley Tour. And
hi, Akin.
We're excited to have you.
How you doing?
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
We are so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into it because I've known you for quite some time through Abiola.
Through Abiola.
You've been keeping this secret from me. You're a hidden talent, and
I know. It's been I've been around Hart for a long time. That's my uncle Abiola.
Okay.
He's been the one encouraging me towards doing stuff because I'm into real estate, like working around the houses and and he's always encouraged me that you're an artist. Why don't you tap into it? Nice. And I would always say, you know what, I have to dig into it, to get there. And COVID brought the best out of it all, Like how do you find, how do you spend your time usefully? And with everything going, and that's when I said, you know what, let me start getting material, start working with stuff. Yes.
So you're very new in the work that you're doing now.
Yes,
how did you get into doing the work around the nails?
Is it
the nails? Because I love construction.
Wow.
I love putting things together. And the idea came with the screws and thinking, you know what, you can put things together with this. If you think about it, you can use different types of materials. It's just how you interpret it. Yeah. And that was what got me to say, you know what, I'll try this and let's see where it goes. And it's been interesting, Johnny.
Love it. You mentioned something. A lot of people think art is about creating something for the end user, the buyer. But, you mentioned with COVID and,
yes.
A lot of people are very challenged with kind of keeping their mental balance and how cathartic art can be for the artist. Did you find that creating the work helped you also to stay?
It did because, with, now with everything going on, it seems as if I've actually had to dig into my own spirituality with everything going on because the fear of the unknown, and now it's all about family, self, and the things that you never thought was important before. Now that's what made me say, you know what, I need to express myself, and hopefully people can relate to it.
And that same energy that you're expressing that you were thinking about, I feel it in the work. So it feels like that transfer of energy from you to the wood and the material
yes.
to the collector.
Exactly.
That same release. That's really powerful.
And it includes humankind, who we are as human beings,
Yes.
It really tells a story. Tell me a little bit about one of your pieces that you just created.
Actually, the Bless the Lord, Oh My Soul. I went through in a couple of months, I went through a lot of stuff. It's like you just never know when COVID will hit, how it's gonna hit. And I got to that point where money couldn't help you. Friends couldn't help you. The only thing you can is tap into your spirituality and to God, whatever you call God, that can give you that balance. And all I could do, I'm a prayerful person, but at this moment in time, it's like, I couldn't help but just call on to God, just to get us out of this, And you know what? It's been great. Wow. That's what I have to say. It's been great. I have a story for that. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Awesome. And your medium, you're using the nails with the wire and
the wood.
Woman and the wood.
Yes.
And then what type of pigment are you using for the color? What type?
For the color, I use the what you call it, the
acrylic
acrylic paint.
Okay. Nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Thank
Well,
you.
my brother, all I can say is we're happy that you took the leap of faith to bring that creativity out and share it with the world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Yes.
being on the Gallery Guichard team and very excited about your career.
Thank you for having me. I do appreciate you guys.
It's great. So everybody will be able to go to our website to visit the virtual exhibition catalog and see your work. It's going to
Thank you. I do appreciate it. I hope they can they enjoy it.
Thank you.
I'll be fixed to them as well.
Yes. Congratulations. And we'll
Thank
see
you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Take care.
Welcome back. We have my husband and business partner, Andre Guichard, but today he's an artist. And I'm going to ask Andre about his work and what got him excited about doing this piece or this body of work, and to give you a little information about who he is. Andre, when did you start painting and what's your background?
So my background is I grew up in a house with an artist. So my father, Alfred Guichard, painted and sculpted all of my childhood, and it really affected me. As a child, I always took my friends around, and I was a docent and enjoyed living with original art. I didn't know how it affected me other than I was always drawing in class and painting, but it was when I graduated from college and had my own place that I knew I was missing a void in my life, and that void was original art on my own walls. So that began my journey of creating art so that I could have art on my own walls, which then my friends started buying. So I challenged myself and I said, if ever I could sell as much with my art on my day job, I would quit. So 8 years later, after finding my fingerprint and building a clientele, I took the leap of faith, and it's been 23 years. The first 10 was as a studio artist, and the last 15 has been as a gallerist and gallery owner with you. But one thing that someone said to me when we opened the gallery was that now we're 15 years, they challenged me and said, I guarantee you in 5 years, you'll no longer be able to paint. You'll only be able to be a gallerist because of the demands of running a gallery. And that remained a challenge for me, where now I make sure, whether it's 2 hours in the middle of the night or at the end of the day, I continue to create. So having one piece for this Humankind exhibition in the midst of everything going on was a lot, and I was able to put my foot into something that I thought would contribute.
Well, I like to see you work, and I noticed that you work in various different mediums and different styles. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the styles you work in, and then in particular, what encouraged you to work in this style?
Thank you. So some artists may work in one series their whole life, and I found working in multiple series, it keeps me excited, but allows me to still grow in a particular series. And this landscape series, while it's a landscape series, it's also a series about love and relationships. And everyone knows there's a story behind art, and the story behind the art is what connects people. So I have thought about relationships, and particularly marriage, how often people only talk about marriage when you get married or when you get divorced or when you pass, because then you're leaving your other. So what happens in that in-between time? And one of the most popular themes in art are still landscapes, per Art and News and one of the recent articles I read. However, landscapes can sometimes be a little boring, so I like incorporating two subjects within one landscape. So this painting is entitled You're the Apple of My Eye, and it is an apple tree, but it's a hybrid apple tree that has a hibiscus base or trunk. And if you know anything about planting, that's one tree that is two individual trees that are braided together that become one tree. And if you think about a relationship, two strong individuals who come together to think as one person is often a challenge, and the divorce rate is 50%, so it's still something that's still difficult. However, if we were to talk more about the
different parts of a relationship, which is what this painting does. It analyzes from the trunk, and the roots are really deep, robust roots, which speak to time spent with someone, getting to learn who they are, figuring out if you can grow together. And then the braiding, this me to we concept is spoken here. And I think it really speaks to then the forms then become branches in themselves. While they're still able to be individuals as one tree, they're still one unit. And the apples are each of their dreams and aspirations as a couple. So it could be your children, your business together, your home, anything, your vacation. So it really gives you an opportunity to see one tree and one landscape as a whole relationship.
So Andre, tell me a little bit about the mediums of this piece, the title, the medium, and we've got your inspiration around it, but let's hear a little bit more about the medium.
So You're the Apple of My Eye is a landscape painting, but the humanity side is the infusion of love, and love is all in nature anyway. But in the hibiscus tree, I use canvas that's covered in ground iron, like brake dust mixed with gesso. So I create a metal surface, and then I use a palette knife to create the textures and the architecture of the form of the tree. And then I layer that with more ground iron and create the metal surface, and then come on top of that with pigment. But what's really nice is every series evolves, and the evolution of this series is the texture in the fruit. And each of the fruit are 5 feet of rolled canvas that's covered in metal. So it kind of speaks to the evolution of that life in terms of the whirlpool. So a lot of subtleties, as well as the leaves are actual patina from the oxidation. So that's not green pigment. And those leaves speak to the test of time. New love is one thing, but to have a love that grows is reflected by the oxidation and the patina.
Patina, oxidation on metal surface like copper or
Yes.
bronze. Awesome, it's creating that green and contrast. That's really amazing.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
really love your work and have loved it ever since I met you. And Andre's work will be seen on our virtual exhibition catalog. You'll be able to go on to our virtual exhibition catalog on www.galleryguichard.com and purchase his work. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you. Frances Marlene Campbell Guichard, aka Marlene Campbell. How are you?
Well, thank you, Andre.
So what an honor it is personally, because I've, for the last 15 years, had the privilege of watching you develop and blossom as an artist. So while I've seen that journey, a lot of people think this is an overnight success, so you just popped up off of where, but you've been on a very long journey, and I've watched you grow and your collector following grow. So why don't you tell us how you got into art, and were you always interested in art?
I've always been interested in art. That's how I met you, loving art, figuring out how I could get my next piece, but never actually imagining that I would be an artist myself, but understanding that even for, people who decide that they want to change their careers, you can, if you have the passion to do it, you can do something different. So I was in your studio with you, watching you work, and I had the opportunity to play with the mediums and to be able to learn more about art. And I'm the type of person that will research things. So I'll read about it and I'll learn about it firsthand on my own, but also take the advice and the information that you provided me to become the artist I am today. And I was able to start creating 16 years ago artwork for my own enjoyment. And you said you really liked what I was doing, so I kept doing it. And one day we had an auction at your studio when you were on Canal Street, and I did a piece. It was a floral piece, and you put a little touch to it, and then we both signed it, but the piece really was everything I did. So I felt really good about that. And we put it out with all the other works of art, with all the other artists for auction. And it sold.
$700?
And $800. And it not only sold, but people were bidding over it. It was a bidding war, and they didn't know who did it.
That's right.
And so I felt really good about that. So it encouraged me to continue to start, keep painting for myself, my own enjoyment. And then we started to travel. We traveled to Florida, and people were buying my work, and it sold out. I would come back, and I would have nothing. So I would paint more, and it kept selling. And then one day you said, Frances, why don't you put your work in the gallery? I put my work in the gallery under Marlene Campbell, because I wanted people to really love the work and resonate with the work that I was doing, not my name under Guichard. And they bought it. I remember having my piece in the window and someone driving down the street, seeing my artwork, coming in and saying, I want that piece. And I was like in awe. And so it's been an amazing journey. 16 years later, I'm still painting. The last show we had that I did artwork in, which was the women's show, and Color Me In, I sold out.
Sell out.
Every single piece sold out, including a commission. So I'm so happy that I'm able to be a part of this. I love art. I'm passionate about it. And I will continue to paint and continue to make sure that the work increases in value as I continue to learn and study more and build my career as an artist.
So tell me a little more about the different series you paint in. We're going to talk about this series because this has become a very popular series, but how many other series do you paint in? Because people may not know about that work that sells in Florida and other regions.
Yeah, I've done abstract, I paint children, dancing ballerinas, I've done florals and a vase. I just finished a commission recently, which is 7 feet tall, 5 feet wide, and it's a vase with epoxy and flowers that I blow with acrylic ink with a straw. And I create the flowers, the florals, with different colors and different textures. And I've done faces with color, just a myriad of things. I like to experiment, and everything that I do actually sells, so I must be doing something right.
So the series behind me is my favorite series, but of course there's a great story about the motivation behind the work. But if you could tell the audience about the motivation behind this series, what it is, the mediums, as well as the motivation and the synopsis behind this piece.
Okay. Well, Andre, you and I had the opportunity to travel to South Africa, and we were there to select various different artists and to work with artists from abroad in South Africa. We traveled in the Eastern Cape, and we drove through the mountainous areas. And when we got up into the mountains, it opened up, and it was amazing. The sun was setting, the people were moving about, and the land was beautiful. There were cacti, and it was just the colors were all coming together, and it made me feel some sort of way. I felt like I belonged, and that this was something I was asked to paint by God. So I came back and started working with sand and acrylic and painting landscapes that remind me of South Africa, of the sunsets, of the sky, of the people and the land. And so you see here, you'll see that I used mixed media. You'll see a little iridescent in there, so when the sun hits it, it will have a reflection and have different colors. And I like to paint the sky, the sun, and in this one I'm painting blue skies. And this piece is called, initially started out, We Must Vote Because Our Lives Depend on It. And then I just painted it right before the election and finished it on November 6th. And right after that, we found out that Joe Biden won the election. So this is now called We Voted Because Our Lives Depend on It. And this is a message about all the people who came out, no matter what color you are, came out to vote to make sure that there's a better way and a better life for all people, not just for the few. And we have to make sure we pass down our culture, pass down the information and the stories to the next generation, because it's important for that generation to understand why it's important to do the things we do. So I'm hoping to give a message in my work that you can share with your children and your children's children, and keep a memory of what we went through. All of this is about the land, the colors, the people, the sky, everything that has to do with humankind, who we are as human people.
Awesome. Well, all I can say is watching you grow as an artist and blossom has just been amazing. And even this series evolving where every day is a different day, and I love it. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking the time, and we'll see you next time here at Gallery Guichard.